So what we're doing is really trying to simplify the training of player decision-making process. So we're trying to automate it in some ways to the level of fluency to, really reduce their cognitive load in competition. So, simplifying the decision so it can happen almost unconsciously allows their cognitive load to be decreased and they feel a lot less pressure and their mind is a lot more freed up to actually evaluate, the higher level strategy that needs to happen in a basketball game because they're not frozen up by stopping and looking at all the different possibilities and trying to process all the information at once. So simplifying down to two options and a single cue is what we call the binary decision, which we're going to get into. That's kind of our way of making that work better for players. So our solution has kind of been boiled down to a four-step process. Over the last 6 to 8 months, we've really made this a more curriculum-based approach so that every player is going through the same process. So we're using our Zoom calls, again, in our 90-day program. We're doing a weekly Zoom call and a weekly workout on the court with each player. And so that's allowed us to really introduce TAGteach and especially the focus funnel model on a Zoom call with players to really educate them on how this works and what it's going to look like. And even playing videos for them of us tag teaching past students so that they know what it looks like in a basketball framework. And especially the focus funnel model is found very helpful. Just talk about, on the Zoom call, we're talking about the lesson. We're talking about the big context. And then on the court, we're talking about the instructions. And then we're finishing that with the tag point. So the players know that when we start giving them instructions, they don't have to remember all of that. We're going to boil it down in those 3 phases and make sure that the end result instruction is only 5 words or less. It's been hugely valuable. And then the second part is we're progressing from simple to complex with our technical skills to kind of prove the value of using TAGteach and let them develop some familiarity and some trust in that process because found a lot of players don't trust when coaches tell them, yes, they did it right. One time, if they don't tell them the next time, like they don't know for sure if they did do it right and the coach didn't say anything or if they actually did it wrong. So developing the trust of the consistency, we're always saying yes when you do it correctly. We're not saying anything or we're saying try again if you didn't do it correctly and take some time. So we're starting with the most basic skills to develop that, progressing toward complex technical skills. And then we start kind of build that up to the next level again is where we start using it with binary decision training. So giving them 2 technical skills that they've already worked through and kind of understand the technical movement, and then developing a cue as the trigger to determine which one to use. So we try to make it a default move and then a counter move so that they always have something that if nothing else happens, we're going to continue doing this move. And then we only need to see one trigger, one cue to trigger the counter move. So in basketball, if you're attacking to go finish a layup at the rim, if no other defender stops you, there's no reason to stop. You just keep going and finish that layup. And then if we see a defender turn their hips to run and cut us off, that's our trigger to cross over or change direction and come up with a different play at the basket. And that's been incredibly helpful with simplification and having the default mindset. We're going to get into that more in a second. But default move first allows them to know that this is always correct unless I see this. Really simplifies and speeds up how fast they can make that decision.